Hey, what's going on, everybody? Big J Gleez here, and I got a lot of requests for more gameplay. So some people wanted to see some gameplay, so that's what we're going to do now. I also got some requests for just my feedback on how the game plays and what I think of the game currently. And I like the game. I think that it plays very well. The aggressive catch can at times be a bit of a problem where people are just throwing balls up and the computer is making catches for them. But for the most part, I feel like that's pretty under control. As long as you have decent coverage out there and you're not letting dominant wide receivers go one-on-one on the outsides or even in the middle of the field, I feel as though it's not completely overpowered. With that said, there are plays that are made by the computer that in most Maddens wouldn't normally be made. It can be frustrating, it can be annoying, but I feel like in other Maddens there's been worse things. So that's basically how I'm looking at the game currently. I like the fact that you can block almost any blitz in the game. And by the way, I am the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game, if I didn't mention that to start off. But I feel as though being able to block 99% of the blitzes, if you're able to identify them, I feel like that's really a great step in the right direction for Madden. That's huge. It's big. A lot of people can't recognize blitzes, I also find. So they're not able to block them because they can't recognize where they're coming from. And that also caters to better players. Better players know the game, they know where the blitzes are going to come from, and they're able to block them accordingly. Now, one of the cool things is the fact that running back routes are so effective, so having them on the field is a part of many people's offenses. So when you're blitzing, a lot of times, like that blitz right there that I just blitzed this guy's face off, that little nano blitz, a lot of times guys let their running backs go out. And the reason why they do that is because the running back routes are so effective. And it really creates a checks and balances, and it forces people to have to block their running back, sit in the pocket, throw the ball, and make a read to the receivers that are tight end. And I feel like that's a very good thing. It's something that I excel at. I do very well at that. So for me, it fits the way that I like to play and the way that I like to play Madden. So for me, I kind of enjoy that. I feel like the user control is a bit lacking as far as making plays on defense this year. Oftentimes when you click on, the DB will animate on his own a lot of times, which is kind of annoying. Even when you turn off all of the assistants, I turn off all the assistants. I don't use any of it. I did try it with the assistants on, and again, the same thing. It's still a bit of a hindrance when you try to put yourself in perfect position and animate, and then your DB like falls over. It is pretty annoying. I have to agree with that. But again, if you are able to play, certain coverages, and you're able to man guys up, if you didn't see the video that I discussed about stopping user catches and gave you guys some tips and some ideas, you can check that out in the link in the description below. You can see right here I'm playing actually pretty good defense, and this guy is running around with his quarterback. He's playmaker and people, and he's trying to force the ball in places that the ball shouldn't go. And I'm sending heat at him, and it's forcing him to throw the ball early. And this is good stuff because we're able to play defense, I feel like, this year. All right, so let's get to some of the ugly stuff in the game, some of the things that I'm not feeling. The substitutions at the play call screen are atrocious. They're horrible. You never know who is actually in. Sometimes I'll go to sub people, and they're not even in my substitutions on the depth chart. Don't know. I don't know what's going on a lot of times. Oftentimes I'll click on a player and sub them in, and they're not listed when I click on them. It's very weird. It's very difficult to know who you have subbed into the game unless you go to a formation and you actually memorize the clicks on your team to get people in certain spots. It's very, very annoying. I actually have talked to some people that work for EA, and that is not going to be fixed. It's something that takes a lot to fix. It's too much to be able to get done. Basically, they would have to rewrite the entire code, apparently. So the play call screen, like last year, is basically still screwed up. You still get the problems where you go into a formation and the plays that you should be able to pick from. So for instance, we'll go to 3-4 and it'll have nickel plays in it. It's very annoying. Basically, at that point, you have to back all the way out and then go back in. A lot of times, it most often happens when you're on defense and the offense picks a play and then you don't get to pick your play in time and the game picks the play for you. That's usually when it happens most often, but it still does happen randomly from time to time, and it's very annoying. It's actually, to me, the fact that the play call screen doesn't work is really crazy to me. Like, it's one of the most fundamental things of the game, but it's just broken. Also, penalties sometimes don't assess properly. There was an instance where Cyrus and I were labbing online, and there was a penalty, and it was supposed to be like a turnover also on the penalty. So I threw an interception, there was a penalty. He gets the ball back, but he like took over my down and distance. So it was like he had the ball, it was like 3rd and 6 or 4th and 6. And I don't know. The game's just wacky. Some things like that just happen. I don't know. It's really, I don't even know the word for it. Disappointing that these types of things are in the game. I guess we'll leave it at that. Disappointing. The good thing, though, is the fact that the developers for Madden and EA Sports have been very active in the community, and they've been talking to people, and they've been trying to address issues. And I feel as though Madden is on such a tight timeline that it's very difficult to put out a polished product. I feel like that's really the problem. And until EA Sports really hunkers down and maybe even releases Madden a year late or leaves this current Madden out for an extra year with roster updates and other type of patch updates, I feel like it's probably never going to be right. Like, it's never going to be 100% perfect. Not that any game is 100% perfect, but it's always going to have these little flaws and these things that basically are bugs in the game that aren't fixed. I feel like it's always going to be that way until things change. So that's it. That's my perspective on Madden. I want to hear what you think. So in the comment section down below, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this year's Madden 16. Thanks for checking in. It's Big J Gleez signing out, and continue to game strong.